All right, hello. We've done the old switcheroo on everyone here. There's probably an ad or something playing, but can you guys hear me now?
I'll give them a couple seconds to catch up, but it seems like that they're having talks amongst themselves.
Hey, fantastic. We got it worked. Coming at you hot with the fast switcheroo here. I'll do the streaming now. Brendan will do the good looking, and let's quick talk about this pick ban because we can go through this real rapid fire. I do very much like the bans that I'm seeing from both teams. These are very smart targeted bans against the comfort picks of the opposing players. I was worried about the all AD comp coming out of Gale Force here, but I really like the Talia jungle. I'm super excited to see this play, and I'm super excited to see what these teams are going to bring for us today. Likewise, that Urgot on Shaden is going to be a massive threat to worry about. Likewise, the rest of their team is shaping up quite nicely, and I am super looking forward to these matches. How about you, Brandon? Or not Brandon?
Close
Brendan.
enough. But anyways, I'm really excited to see this, and now that I can actually take a look at the picks and bans, now that I'm not taking a look at my damn OBS, I still blame Windows updates for that. I'm actually kind of surprised seeing what's coming through. We got a Talia jungle, we got an Olaf jungle. Haven't seen Olaf or Talia for a bit. Bot lane is pretty self-explanatory, but I do like to see that Sigtel Lord got his boy Blitzcrank back. I'm excited for that. That's always a good thing to see. And Shaken with Zed, that's going to be something they got to look out for. That is a dangerous champ to give over. These bans are actually pretty interesting in themselves now that I can actually take a look at everything. I'm sure the chat was probably doing, God damn it, Arcane, you took away my #1 spot for bits. Sorry. ADD a little bit coming through, folks. Now that I can actually look at everything, it's just an influx of information.
Too much to deal with. Overload.
Yep. But anywho, yeah, I feel like that this is going to be a very exciting matchup, but I will get on. All right, no, never mind. We got enough tank here, I think. Kenos can get off of his soapbox, I think.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. We do have a Gnar, so you do kind of have to play around that. Urgot and Olaf are decent frontline. Blitzcrank in a pinch can do it too. So I think it's a decent team comp. Certainly no mega tanks, but they can be a little bit boring anyways. So
Looks like they can't see the picks.
no, that's fine. It's just how I set it up.
Okay.
But it's problem solved now. Should be resolved now. I got everything downloaded all hot swap like. Of course, that is exactly the moment that we go into the Nero skin challenge. But fortunately, our viewers should hopefully be able to both see and hear all parts of the stream moving forward. So,
Hopefully.
hopefully.
No guarantees.
Who you feeling on this one, Nickelbacker, for the skin challenge?
I would love to see the skin. Okay, now I can see. No Talia or Zed. Come on now. It might have to go to Northern Storm by default.
Yeah, the two naked skins. That's just or the two naked champions. I do need to give it to Northern Storm as well. Some solid skins flat out as well. I love the High Noon Urgot, Broloff, Elementalist. You can't even argue with that. And Pizza Delivery is always one that I love. And also definitely not Blitzcrank. I mean those are solid skins to begin with.
I do have to say that Blitzcrank didn't even show up, so it's going to be a 4v5 throughout the entire matchup. Interestingly enough. But all it depends on for Northern Storm is what pizza topping Severe starts with. That's what. If it's pineapple, you guys lost. Every single time. WD fan, don't let me down, man.
I think he's got better taste than that.
I would hope so. Last time I was sorely disappointed whoever played Severe last.
Who did play Severe last? That'd be a great question for like the stats teams that we don't have on standby. But
funny enough, I think it might actually be WD Fan, but I'm not 100% certain.
Well,
You heard from me, folks.
certainly a very stark point to come out on. I'm so sorry for Northern Storm right off the bat, but after all of the technical delays, we are, or not technical delays, technical difficulties, we are in the match and set up and ready to go on to match 1 of this set between Northern Storm and Gale Force. Looks like we're doing a 5-point stance coming out of Gale Force, but looks like we might see some early action here coming from Northern Storm.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Definitely gonna want to start bloody with this. I wonder if Sig probably got his grab. They're probably fishing for something. I don't know if they're going in the wrong fishing hole.
Well, you're not really Blitzcrank if you don't start with your Q, you know? I mean, what's the point if you don't, right?
For sure.
Well, as much as that was a little bit of a fun preamble, it looks like... Oh, never mind. Urgot got spotted out here. Lots of dodging his skill shots here. So far, a very defensive start. Looking like we might make it to buffs here without much problem. Yep, indeed we do. Some lovely emotes coming out of both teams.
You gotta start the game with something, and emotes is one of the things that you need to start with. Let's see here. Everybody's just kind of tit for tat right now. Nothing really too interesting happening. I'm saying that so that something interesting will happen.
Ah, you figured out the system. I can't say that I was ever that smart.
Nope.
Ooh,
Oh,
immediately a Blitzcrank hook gets Fat Jackalope, takes half his health in damage on the trade. Immediately, Sigtal Lord showing off why that Blitzcrank is so good in his hands.
Indeed. And I do have to say, WD fan, I enjoy this. You got pepperoni on your pizza. 10 out of 10. Well done.
That is the correct topping choice, just generally speaking. Checking out our junglers, we have Riff Scuddler secured by our Olaf player Chaosix, who's looking to check in on the Raptors. Meanwhile, Deformed Ape is securing that blue buff, and looks like he's also going to get the Raptors. Probably going to be some top lane ganks here in the next couple of moments.
And while we are still in a lull, I do want to say that this awesome gameplay is brought to you by oldhost.net. If you use promo code LCUS, you can get some money off of your first URL. Use oldhost to host your next URL.
Big fight
Something
coming
happened.
down in the jungle. Massive trade in top lane, but never mind that. Deformed Ape is getting chased down. Flash forced out by Chaosix. Flash forward to secure that first blood. Well done, Chaosix. Northern Storm off to a great start.
So you just have to say something boring first.
And I do want to go back to that top lane trade. There was some action that we needed to look at first, but this Gnar is actually playing pretty well into Shaden's Urgot. It definitely outranges the Urgot, and I think as long as he does his trades as well as he did the first one, that it's actually a decent matchup. Not one that I necessarily expected.
Mm-hmm. For sure. As of right now, just something else, and that's something that Olaf I think is going to want to do is get a little bit of an early lead going on. Ooh, a bad route for Sig.
Yeah, exactly. You win some, you lose some. That one he lost some, and exactly what he had done to Fat Jackalope prior got done to him by a wonderful binding coming out of Poison Ivy.
I honestly was going to think that... I would think that WD Fun and Sigtao Lord would have a little bit of an edge on this, but it seems like that's proving me wrong. My thought process wrong, at least.
Yeah, Sivir takes a little bit to start up, and Fat Jackalope and Poison Ivy, so Ezreal and Morgana are going to have such a huge poke lead that unless they get all in a big hook coming out of Blitzcrank, they're probably going to win the lane in pressure at least until Sivir has an item or two.
I can see that now.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't making any predictions, right? So, but Stelio Kanto's a little bit on the back foot here. Urgot has been winning most of the trades. Looks like he's sort of downloaded the pattern of Stelio Kantos' Gnar, but he jumps in, gets a bunch of damage out. Mega Gnar's into a very sudden burst, but that looks like the end of it for now, at least.
While that was happening, we had Deformed Ape in the mid lane trying to get a gank off, but Six Tower Infinite just shook it off and went back to another tower.
Ooh, scuffle here happening. Oh, Blitzcrank misses that hook by just the smallest margin.
Six Tower Infinite. Shaken? Hello?
Oh, man. Chose to back off. I'm not sure I would have, but he would have been in enemy territory. I think he could have gotten it.
It's better to be safe than sorry, but man, he doesn't see the same things we see. He can't see the enemy team. Come on now, give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, yeah, and he even knew the enemy team was nearby, I respect the choice. Having said that, a big CS lead on Shaken over Sigtown Infinite. Zed normally is supposed to have a bit of a hard time. Big binding landing on Sivir. Spell Shield a moment too late. Bunch of damage goes out onto Fawn. Just from that poke damage, it's starting to really add up in the bot lane. Zed jumps in, death marks immediately. It is on Lux, does not secure the kill, and in fact is binded under the turret and ends up dying. Well played by Sigtow Infinite. It looks like that exhaust got him through the engage.
Can say that again. I don't even think that Chaos 6 had to come in for that, but that definitely helped him out a little bit.
At the very least, some moral support. Good news for Shaken is that he does have teleport, so he's right back in the lane. It might actually just get a further CS lead on the back of a failed fight, but definitely not the way that he wanted that played out. Also, Stelio Kantos, or I'm sorry, Shaden looking for something here on the back of that teleport play, but Zed has already roamed, looking to kill this, to kill Fawn Sivir. I think he might just go for this. Oh no, wisely chooses to back off. Deform Ape barely wins over the red buff, but hey, we've all been there.
Wukong was definitely there, the last one, except that was the Raptors.
Raptors are somehow worse. I don't know how, but
never forget.
ooh, flash forward from Sigtel Lord. Black Shield is on cooldown. Ignite goes out on Poison Ivy. I don't know if she has enough health. She might just do it, chugs a potion to make it safely, and a bunch of damage goes back from Fat Jackalope into Fawn. Probably even won the trade when you take into account the Summoner exchange.
Now they're starting to try to make plays. Sigtal Lord is showing that he is dangerous with that hook, but still just cannot do anything about it.
Yeah, there's been some very good black shields, some smart preemptive timing coming out of Poison Ivy. Morgana is a very good counter to Blitzcrank. Oh, big collapse here. This Urgot is a bit caught out, but is doing an absolute ton of damage. Gets Fear Beyond Death on to Zed. Zed who dies. A bunch of flashes exchange. End up being 1-for-1, but probably one in the Summoner front. Although Shaden does not have teleport and is probably going to lose a decent amount of CS to that.
Right. We got a blood match going on, guys.
Yeah. Just keep shouting things that are happening, right?
Hey, it's our job. It's what we do. That Jackalope just trying to get rid of some minions. Stelio Kantos getting the red buff.
He did successfully get tier, but he is out of mana, and teleport is on cooldown for at least another minute or so here. So that lack of mana really starting to hurt Fat Jackalope. probably just using his ult to just try to keep the wave cleared. Just because he doesn't have enough mana to do it with his Q, even though he'd rather be stacking his tier.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of what I expected out of this matchup, is that these two teams are going to be at each other's throats, because really, they need to win both of these games to succeed in their spot for the playoffs.
Definitely, it is kind of all or nothing at this point. Anything short of a 2-0 is failure for these teams. As Shaken jumps in, unfortunate timing though, as Blitzcrank shows up, gets the silence off, knocks up into a binding from Lux, is trying to trade it back out, but Sigtal Infinite does not go down, and that was a fantastic CC chain on Shaken coming out of Northern Storm.
Ooh, nice root.
Lots of damage going on to Deform's 8 Talia.
Get out of there. Stop it.
Talia was a little bit confused there for a moment, forgot that she's a jungler, not a mid laner. That was Season 7, not Season 8. And Lux gives a gentle reminder.
Alright.
Stelio Contos is spending a lot of time out of lane. I'm not sure, you know, it's always just a little bit here, a little bit there. You know, he gets an assist, he gets a kill, you know, he helps disengage, but he is starting to fall behind in CS pretty significantly, and I kind of thought that he might win this lane. I think the biggest part of that is just that he's been staying so long out. Never mind that, a fight in bottom lane. Zed does go in, caught the tail end of that. Bunch of ults come out, but disengage and no one dies.
Might be fishing for a Zed though. Lux doing some damage on Shaken. Everybody just peels. Come on! That was an Ezreal wet dream though. You got 3 champions right in a row and you were able to hit all of them. Well done to that Jackalope for that initiation, but nothing to come for it.
And again, this Morgana with the Binding Sivir, incredibly low health. I'm not sure that she really wants to be there. Teleport forced out by Shaden. This Urgot is definitely scary, and they were going to have to respect that, but that is a lot of damage coming out on that turret. And also some free time for Zed, who does have Teleport, to farm in top lane to try to get back into this game. Speaking of getting back into this game, while the teams are posturing here for a moment, I'm going to put up the gold chart here briefly. Looks like couple hundred gold in top lane lead to Shaden. Likewise in jungle. Even in mid lane, despite Zed's death, so just that superior CSing there working out. But a little advantage coming out of this Kleptomancy Ezreal in bot lane for Gale Force. So one of the spots where they are doing just fine.
I'm interested to see what...
nothing. Go ahead.
I'm interested to see what Gale Force really has planned for this, because it seems like that Northern Storm is kind of just keeping them at bay and also just really confusing them to a point. Because like you were saying, Stelio Contos has been out of lane and trying to help out other people as well. It seems like that's been kind of the case for mid lane as well.
Well, they did get their first turret. Also, we got to see a fantastic Arcane Shift. I think that's the name of the ability. Never mind, Urgot in a lot of damage, or a lot of trouble. Ult comes out of Stelio Contos, knocked back. Talia knocks to safety. Multiple teleports coming through. Massive escalation here in the top lane, and they do successfully secure the kill on Urgot, and Shaden goes down. And behind that, probably a Rift Herald, although it's already out of patience. So there it goes. Big play. I actually really like this. It's a decision just in the bot lane after they secure that turret straight to the top lane. No warnings of any kind. They burn Ezreal's teleport to pull it off. They get Rift Herald, but they're going to lose Drake for it at the same time. However, it was just a cloud, and they did shut down one of the major threats for Northern Storm while securing the Rift Herald. I actually really like this play. I think that was very smart out of Gale Force.
I tend to agree. Again, just go backwards from what I say, guys. Hold on.
Another teleport. Looking at this Zed. Silver wisely backs off. Doesn't want any part of that. Mana Moon is completed for Ezreal as well as a Sheen, so he is starting to be very much of a damage threat. Starting to stack the damage is starting to stack up for him. Zed lagging a little bit behind here. He's not quite the lethal threat he needs to be. But Shaden on the other side looking terrifying, and a Storm Razor on Sivir is no small thing either.
You have that right. Let's see here. Northern Storm are kind of setting up in the mid lane here. They've been doing that for a while now. A lot of wards coming out. I do enjoy that. Nice root.
Absolutely. Oh, Zed jumps in right as Sigtal Lord tries to get in more damage. Ooh, the mana barrier was enough to keep him alive by the skin of his teeth, even through the Ezreal and Zed ult. Another collapse coming down. This Gnar in a good spot, putting a lot of pressure on Shaden, who is a bit trapped out. Makes it back to safety just fine. Lots of trade damage coming out from Zed.
What is going on here? Everybody's able to get out with their lives.
Well, I think these teams are playing exceptionally well today. Definitely showing all the progress that they've made as a team in terms of coordination and synergy. Both teams watching over each other and making sure that they're all in the right position and they're all covered. I really like this play.
I'm not talking down on them at all. I'm just surprised that this is happening.
Yeah, right? Pleasantly surprised in my case, but same. Well, probably pleasantly surprised in your case too, but... Lots of items I suspect will be completed. Almost everyone on their first items should be on their first items if they aren't already. I think the next team fight's going to be pretty explosive.
Yeah, for sure.
Blitzcrank waiting in the side here, looking for someone to step out. Expects the juke, no juke.
And a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you whiff.
And Stelio starting to put some of that pressure that I thought he was going to have on Urgot. Maybe he's just not worried about it in the short term and is, or maybe isn't worried about laning against Urgot, trusting in his ability to escape and slow, and has been putting his pressure in other lanes, kind of combined with Talia, who really wants to help other lanes get ahead. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out too much, but that's mostly due to great play from Northern Storm. Ooh, Olaf does Predator, engages on Shaken's Zed. Zed ults to get out to safety and does blow his flash, but very well played by Shaken. He makes it out to safety. Still, though, a little bit overextended without any ward coverage. Ooh, a little bit late on the Black Shield there, but didn't matter. And I do really like the ward coverage coming out from both teams. Rift, oh, yeah, Rift gets summoned.
Probably just getting it out there so that it can get to the bot lane. I don't know how much it's going to be able to do. It seems like that Chaos 6 and WD Fawn are going to take it out really quickly.
Yep, didn't do much. However, a fight does break out in mid, and two members are down while this gets resolved. Talia ult comes in, does successfully knock off Lux, but there's no damage to follow up on it. I respect the play, but could have been executed just a little bit better. And meanwhile, turret for free in top lane as Urgot continues on not opposed. I do really wish this Gnar would spend more time in top lane, Never mind that teleport comes out looking at bot lane, I suspect. There it is. And it looks like they're going to get another turret, a great tempo play coming out of Northern Storm here at the cost of just one teleport.
That's what I was curious about when one of the teams was going to realize, hey, everybody's just focusing mid lane, let's just split and do top lane and bot lane, and then we can get some towers down and push up.
Well,
it was just a matter of waiting.
It was just a matter of waiting. You were just that much further ahead of Northern Storm, because that's exactly what happened. Gale Force is fighting a game of ARAM right now. Unfortunately, no one told them they're on Summoner's Rift.
That Jackalope is trying his darndest against Shade and NWD Fawn, but he really can't do much about it.
Does shoot out the ult. This is going to do a great job of keeping the turret alive for a little bit, but you're absolutely right. He needs more support if he's going to make it out of this. Uh-oh. Olaf immediately on deformed 8. Talia running back as fast as she can. Does use the knockback. Unfortunately, Olaf was ulted and not susceptible to taking damage. Zed secures the kill. So that is a bit of good news, because if you're Gale Force, you absolutely want that Zed to start getting ahead and start being a threat. Still, though, normally you'd prefer if Talia didn't have to die at the same time.
Right on that.
Also, speaking of things that you'd really rather not happen if you're Gale Force, that's an Infernal Drake that is being soloed by Fan. Basically with no contest here, although it looks like there might be some awareness coming out of Fat Jackalope. Good thing that Northern Storm had pulled that back, or else that might have just been timed out right to steal the Drake from Fat Jackalope's thing. Cute. Thing. I can come up with better words. Go. Mystic Shot is the name of that.
And as we go further in, it's just a battle of split pushes here. Gnar able to take up the top lane. Now it looks like Gale Force might... Nope. I was going to say they might actually be able to take the mid lane, but Northern Storm pushes them off for now.
And the problem here is that I'm still very unhappy that we're talking about mid lane from Gale Force. There are 3 teleports up on Gale Force and a Talia ult, which can essentially move you from one lane to the other. And why do they need to be in a 3-1-3 right now? Or a 1-3-1. Zed goes in, never mind my rambling. Zed is absolutely going to die here, but does secure the kill on Urgot, which is certainly good news. A ton of damage coming up. I don't know that they're going to be able to get any more kills after that. Talia a little bit out of position. Gnar also here to help out. Gets a bunch of damage in. Looks like they're going to back off. And that may seem like very little to go one for, or at least even or whatever, to go 1 for 1 if you're Gale Force here, but you are very happy to see your Zed start getting kills, and especially if it is on Shaden's Urgot, which is absolutely terrifying, but not as terrifying as the 3-1-1 Olaf being piloted by Chaosix. He has been performing on that champion today.
Oh, for sure. I had my reservations about an Olaf pick, but Chaosix is definitely proving my reservations wrong. He is definitely showing what that champ can do in the jungle.
Yeah, Predator, such a great keystone on him. He's got fully completed Cinder Hulk and most of a Deadman's Plate as well, so he is definitely rapidly approaching online here.
Let's see here. Can Gale Force get the mid lane tower?
Ooh, flash forward by Sigtail Lord. In the meanwhile, Shaken jumps on and deletes Fan right in the middle of his team, but it didn't matter because their cooldowns are down. Binding lands on Lux. She is trapped. Gnar jumps forward, forces out the stopwatch, or Hourglass in this case. Tallywall comes through, cutting off the team. Bunch of damage onto that Blitzcrank. Ult comes out. This is a huge fight going in the way of Gale Force, but Northern Storm trades one back with the Fear Beyond Death coming out of Shaden.
This is definitely the momentum that Gale Force wanted. It looks like that they're just going to peel back right now. They definitely don't want to mess with Shaden's Urgot.
Yeah, definitely not, especially with all their cooldowns down. They did secure themselves a 1k gold lead. They've either been ahead or slightly behind this whole game. So very good on them to get a little bit ahead here, but they don't want to squander that by immediately dying. But Northern Storm knows this and is looking to get a turret back. Very aggressive play coming out of Shaden. Successfully trades quite a lot onto Zed. Morgana does go golden, but doesn't matter. Not tanky enough and a little bit too far forward here. I would have preferred all three members to engage and defend this in sort of together. Another flash forward from Shaden. Very aggressive play. Talia knockback goes in. Zed jumps in. Tries to do a little bit too much there. Unfortunately, Gale Force has kind of squandered their lead here. Definitely squandered their lead. They're 1k behind now. Just by going in one by one as opposed to grouping up and playing as a team. Conversely, Northern Storm absolutely playing together like a machine in this game.
Truffles, I'm sorry, but did you make this game an ARAM game when you made it? I'm asking for a friend.
I'll have to check. For Gale Force's sake, I certainly don't want to do the same thing twice. If I did make that mistake, though. Holy cow, has this been non-stop action, but mostly in the mid.
As an ARAM game goes, it's non-stop action in the mid lane. But
That's why I like them so much. But this Baron is going down at a third. They choose to peel off. All of Gale Force is present, but they did not reset Baron. It's down to under 3,000 health. Ooh, a massive ult coming out of this Gnar. Mega Gnar, fantastic. Lots of low health. So far, four for just... Oh my goodness, it's going to be a clean ace. It does not matter if you get Baron, if you die, although you do get a little bit of gold. But look at that gold swing. Holy cow, Gale Force swinging about like 5,000 gold or something ridiculous. And they're going to get a turn or two off this as well. Oh, and they stole Baron.
yeah, they got it. Oh. Dang. My mouth is hanging open right now. I hope probably everybody else. I'm on the edge of my seat right now. This game has turned into exciting. Gale Force coming back with a vengeance. They want to take this game for themselves. They're going to go down the top lane. Surprisingly not the mid lane like they've been doing. They're going to get an inhibitor from this, but people are going to come back.
See, Gale Force? See how well it works when you don't just ram it down mid. All their teleports are on cooldown, absolutely needed to get to that Baron fight. It's a little bit tragic that they couldn't take advantage of this minion wave over here, but you know what? They cracked the base, they got an inhibitor, they aced a team, and they stole Baron. Fantastic play. 26.5-ish minutes into this game, Gale Force said, I don't care about the previous bit of the game. We're starting fresh right now. Get ready for Game 1, Part 2.
We might see a little bit more of aggression coming out from the teams right now, kind of shifting for this Drake. Is somebody gonna start it? Oh, Ezreal's gonna start it. Shaden's gonna respond in kind, just be the tank that he is.
Very important for Gale Force here if they want to stay in this. I mean, they have a bit of a gold lead, but they need to contest this. Unfortunately, they're just not able to get there in time. That is 2 Infernal Drakes over to Northern Storm, which is essentially an even game when you take into account the 16% bonus or whatever it is that that 2 Infernal Drakes, excuse me, would give.
I think you're right on that. Jeez. Now they're going back to their old ways of ARAM, ramming it down mid lane.
Well, at least they have an inhibitor this time, so it's a little bit justifiable.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss out of Sigtel Lord. He's about 50-50 on his hooks today, which is, that's totally average for Blitzcrank. But
So you gotta touch better than this, my friend. Ooh, a root on WD-Fan, that is not good.
Oh.
Sigtel Lord also gonna go.
Piled in by Gale Force.
Yeah,
2 characters.
Missed it, folks. Just nuked.
They are not relenting on this pressure. They're going to open up a second inhibitor turret here, probably focused on this inhibitor. They do have a Canyon minion to defend to get this. Shaden definitely looking for some action here, but isn't going to be able to defend it. And Gale Force is on their way out. They've done a fantastic job. Really good play out of Gale Force here. One thing I will say is that Northern Storm did a great job of of capitalizing on just that rotation timing, that the macro timing from when Gale Force recalled to secure that Infernal Drake that is a ray of shining light. Flash forward from Poison Ivy, uses the Blast Cone to get out. Unfortunately, a little bit off here and is absolutely going to get caught. Although I do think she just successfully black shielded the Fear Beyond Death from Shaden, so that won't be a factor. However, she's still absolutely going to die, which is bad news for Gale Force. Who knew?
What is going on here today, folks? But Gale Force is just kind of going back, licking their wounds. Well, Poison Ivy's licking her wounds. And they're going to get back into this game. Northern Storm is going to have to play a little bit defensively now. Maybe they'll get an ace too, and this will be really a tug of war.
Yeah, I've casted more than a couple like 60-minute games where it's just back and forth. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be upset if we didn't do that one, but I wouldn't be upset if we did either.
Might be what this turns out to be. I mean, a lot. Both these teams are pretty far. Well, obviously Gale Force is doing a lot better, but still, Northern Storm is nothing to scoff at right now. They are pretty far in all their lanes.
Taking a quick look at the gold charts here, there is a 4,500, 5,000 gold lead coming for Gale Force in this, which is certainly a sizable lead at this point in the game. But taking a look at the individual players, looks like Shaden is still ahead of his opponent, but a huge lead for Shaken X's. I don't know what I'm saying here. Zed's gold lead, about even all elsewhere across the place. Enough talk about gold. There is this turret under threat, and there is a huge wave of minions here in the top lane pushing on the Nexus turret that's got to be dealt with, freeing up a 4v5 here. Zed immediately in. Shaken goes very aggressively in, does get the Zonias, but does not matter. Is immediately cleaned up here. Far too aggressive coming out. Sivir ult engaged. Vaughn at half health. Fantastic ult coming out of Stelio Cantos. Nice combo. Even trapped in here due to the Talia ult. This is a huge team fight and a really well-coordinated fight coming out of Gale Force to win essentially a 4v4.
Woo!
Right?
What is going on, Gale Force? Over 9,000. Jeez Louise, Ultra Instinct activated. Go on.
There's a couple of death timers here that I don't know that they'll be able to finish, but they're certainly putting the hurt on these turrets. They might go for it here. Flashing forward, I think that they've called trying to end the game here. They're pushing a lot of pressure on it, teleporting forward, and they secure the game. Gale Force on the back of two fantastic team fights is able to come from behind and take the first game.
Holy guacamole.
What?
Of course, I want to humbly apologize to you guys right now. I had my doubts for you at the beginning of the game and even the mid of the game. You guys completely proved me wrong. Baron Steel able to turn it around, get a whole. The hype is real tonight, folks. I need to sit down. I'm standing up.
Interesting damage graph coming out. Well, not some solid damage coming out of Zed and Ezreal, but honorable damage coming out of Sigtail Infinite's Lux as well.
Those laser beams ain't a joke. Although they were kind of missing sometimes, but still.
And speaking of things that are not, in fact, a joke, both teams fought very well together in multiple team fights across this game. I'm very much looking forward to the next game.
Highly impressed with both teams, but the question remains, can Gale Force get a 2-0? Get themselves a little bit closer to that 4th spot for the playoffs championships? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, stay tuned. We're going to take a small break, and we're going to find out the answer to that question.